Hey loves, this video is going to be the first for I guess it'd be a video series that I'm calling Thoughtful Thursdays. These videos will be along the same sort of subject matter, femininity, society, esotericism, etc., probably leaning more towards esotericism, with the difference from Media Monday uploads being that Thoughtful Thursdays will not be analyzing any specific piece of media. And I'll add that these uploads will not be as plentiful as the Media Monday uploads, since my channel was created with the media focus in mind. So today I want to expand on a video I did previously and go more in depth into the age of Aquarius and how it is related to certain changes we are seeing in society. I think I've mentioned this before, but Max Derrat has a really phenomenal video series explaining a book by Carl Jung called Aion. That book has so many layers to it, which I know I'll end up discussing in the future, but what I want to focus on is the detailing of the ages, or Aions, that are mentioned. The video I want to call attention to is number 6, detailing the age of Pisces, which is the age that comes before Aquarius in accordance with the zodiac calendar, so I recommend watching that for a bit more context. I'll leave a card in the corner and a link in a pinned comment below. Now, the age of Pisces would be the age of Christ, and this makes sense not only with the symbol of Jesus being a fish, but also when we look back in history and see the way Christianity has shaped modern society. A huge part of the dominant society's colonization of the world has been the belief that they are divinely guided and justified by their God. However, the symbol of Pisces is 2 fish. So, if there is an age of Christ, then there must also be an age of Antichrist, which isn't necessarily the age of the devil, although it certainly could be considered that in certain respects. Technically and simply put, an age of Antichrist is one which turns away from strict adherence to authoritative religious institutions, and even religion in general. Again, looking at history and society, this makes sense when we think about the emergence and societal acceptance of atheism. You no longer get burned at the stake for rationalizing the world and denying the existence of God, or at the very least expressing the need for quantifiable proof of his existence. Instead, you can become a lawyer. Within Max Derrat's video, he simply explained this age of Pisces as a time of 2 polar opposites making their natures known, as the symbol for Pisces is 2 fish. I say this all the time, the duality of life is intrinsic and inevitable. You simply cannot have one without the other. Also in that video, he then explains the age of Aquarius as a time of balancing out these 2 polar opposites through recognizing their respective pros in addition to their cons. Aquarius is the water bearer. Since fish live in water, the water bearer is providing the environment in which the 2 fish will coexist. Another way to think about these ages is through gender. Think about the changing position and actions of women from history to today. Through the age of Christ, women were seen as subservient to men. The pro is that women were provided for and, in many ways, seen as treasures to be protected. The con is that women had no agency or authority and had to rely on a man to have her best interest at heart, which, in many cases, they did not. Through the age of the Antichrist, then comes the feminist movement that, on one hand, finally recognized women as actual individuals with authority instead of accessories to men, i.e., going from the secretary to head of HR. On the other hand, this movement has devolved into masculinizing women and convincing us that the best way to be an ideal woman is through taking on the definitive traits of men and outright rejecting the definitive traits of women. Enter the age of Aquarius. I've talked about this previously in my Age of Aquarius, What the Gurus Won't Tell You video, But as a refresher, the age of Aquarius is also known as the age of enlightenment. Aquarius, the water bearer, is here to clear out the old ways of doing things to make room for the new, bestowing upon those of us who choose to listen invaluable knowledge that will help improve our world on the individual and community level. Although Aquarius itself is a masculine sign due to its element being air, its actual symbol of water bearer has feminine undertones due to the association with water and healing. Having said this, the age of Aquarius is a time of the divine feminine consciousness healing herself. Remember, women may be the physical embodiment of the divine feminine, but there is a feminine energy within all living things. Consider the mental health awareness movement that validates mental health as being just as important as our physical health, in addition to expressing the necessity for learning to manage one's emotions, not necessarily in the sense of controlling them, but in the sense of allowing oneself to feel them in a healthy manner, basically learning how to swim through turbulent emotions to calmer waters. Look at what happened just last year. When the world shut down, it forced people inwards, literally with being forced to stay indoors, but also metaphorically through forcing a number of us to reevaluate our mental health and the circumstances affecting it, effectively remothering ourselves. You may have established boundaries in certain relationships, cut others off entirely, changed your job/career path, moved to a new location, or even something as simple as discovering or rediscovering a hobby. Whatever you did, the core motivation for these changes was the understanding in and reclamation of your own power as the master of your destiny. This line of thought directly ties into the spirituality and level up/femininity movements that have birthed light workers that are bringing illumination and forgotten knowledge to the collective. In the words of my fave,
the universe is your collaborator and not your enemy.
I think the most significant evidence of the age of Aquarius is the BWE/divestment movement. Healing the divine feminine energy is intrinsic to BWE because Black women are the original women. This is a scientific truth when we consider that A, human life originated in Africa, and B, through analyzing mitochondrial DNA, remember, this is passed on to offspring through the mother, scientists traced humanity's most recent common ancestor, meaning the ancestor shared with every single living person in today's times, to a Black woman in Africa who lived some 200,000 years ago, aka mitochondrial Eve. But also, consider the evolution of beauty standards within this past decade.
Do you know what everyone says about you? They say that you're the less hot version of me.
If ever there was a community in need of divine feminine healing, Blackistan is indeed one such community. Knowing what I know now about the feminine and masculine principles, the actions of the men, and the like-minded women who helped them, are no less than a complete travesty and an utter betrayal. The water bearer indeed brings healing and clarity, but remember, she will be clearing the old to make room for the new. This will be evident on the individual level, i.e., opening your eyes to toxic relationships so that you see them for exactly what they are, and, ideally, gain the courage to leave them behind, but also on a larger scale through enacting some karmic shifts. Shifts that we are already witnessing and will only continue to get worse before they get better. At the same time, let me offer each of you a ray of hope by reassuring you that the BWE movement gaining traction at this point in time means that it is in fact divinely guided and protected. This is for those of you who are truly divested and looking out for yourself and yourself alone, as is your right, and for any other fellow lightworkers out there who feel called to help other Black women and girls. No matter how many embarrassing or depressing stories get blasted on the interwebs and make it seem like there is no hope for the collective, keep your sights focused on your goals. There are a lot of people who are invested in and benefit from your suffering. It only makes sense that triggering stimuli emerge when we begin to raise our vibration, because that is meant to further motivate us to leave it behind. It's not even that all these trolls are appearing out of thin air to drag you into the darkness. It's more like your eyes have adjusted to the darkness so that you are now able to see all of them clearly. They've always been there, but because you are separating yourself from them and making it known you are not cut from the same cloth, it is becoming clear to you that they do not belong. The law of attraction is not simply a trendy buzz phrase. It is a natural and spiritual law, just like the law of gravity. Now, I will say that attraction is a bit misleading because, after all, leveled up women attract all types of men, bums included, but that doesn't mean she herself is a bum. Think of it more as the law of attraction and attachment. The staples in your environment are a reflection of your own vibration. Whatever matches our frequency is attracted and attached to us. So, if it is something undesirable, you have to release it by changing your frequency and shifting your focus to what you actually want. This also means that when you release that which doesn't resonate, you are attracting something that does. Good things will come to you, but you have to make a conscious effort to mind your mind and be discerning with where you put your energy into, as well as where you pull your energy from. If you don't like how it makes you feel, you don't like how it looks, or if it otherwise is not something you want, get rid of it. So many of us have struggled because we've been told, but more importantly, we began to believe that a hard life is the only life possible. The true light workers that are out here bringing spiritual enlightenment are here to provide you, just as much as me, with the knowledge we need to assist us in facilitating the manifestation of our dream life. You can thrive and live. What is the point of being alive if you aren't enjoying it? As harsh as it may seem, the lost ones stuck in their ways are not your problem unless you make them your problem. As you focus your energy on raising your own vibration, you'll begin to see your manifestations and begin to attract others who are receptive to learning from the example you set, if you feel called to being a guide. Everyone else will either learn the hard way or not at all. Focus on yourself first and foremost, because after all, you can't build your own house if you keep giving your bricks away. Being the master of our own destiny means that we are also our own responsibility. It will be up to you if you are on the winning side of history. Consider this a prophetic warning.
Save yourself. And, manifesting doesn't include manifesting for everyone around you. That's their job. You're there to lead by example. You're there to show them that it's possible. Once you get yours, then you turn around and you can teach them how to get theirs. Okay? But don't try to pull everybody up while you still climb and haven't made it to the point where you can pull other people.
Speaking of warnings, y'all move in silence. Don't tell anybody about your plans unless you know they can and hypothetically would help you. And when you do manifest, keep it on the low. I've seen so many memes of people saying things like, this one is for all my haters, or I'm doing this to prove everyone wrong. And I mean, on some level, I get it. Like, I understand the feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction that comes from proving negative Nancy's wrong. But on the other hand, why would you taunt those that are jealous of you? It's perfectly okay and justified to be happy for yourself, but remember that everyone does not share your sentiments. People have lost their lives due to resentment and jealousy. It's that duality of life. Yes, some of us are making amazing strides in improving our lives, but some of us are not. And as an expression of frustration over their perceived lack of control over their own lives, they will seek to control your life via sabotage and/or snuffing you out. I know I mentioned being divinely protected, but I'm just giving words of caution because I don't think that is an excuse to willingly put yourself in danger. Yes, be brave and try new things and experience the many beautiful things this world has to offer. But I feel that being blissfully ignorant to the dangers that exist, or believing yourself to be the exception to the rule that's been proven time and time again, is setting yourself up to be humbled. I feel that the power of protection that is granted to us when we pray to a higher power comes from, of course, that higher power, but also in our knowledge that things can be so much worse. So basically, being protected is through us expressing gratitude for having that protection in spite of all that can harm us. I mean, would you willingly move into the hood knowing the culture that exists there? Enjoy your life, but be smart. I'll leave the link and a card to a recent book I found through a lovely young woman I recently became friends with that will give more information on manifesting and actual rituals you can use to raise your vibration and manifest. I'll also put some other videos / content creators that are also sharing priceless knowledge. Remember, we are safe, we are secure, we are abundant in all. I love myself and I love you. I'll talk to you later, beautiful.